Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. We are going to be working with the new Simon Hurley release called Beautiful Blooms. This is available on Spellbinders.com, and this is such a beautiful set. It is such a huge set as well, but look at the details on those flowers. The shading on those is just exquisite, and it comes with a lot of sentiments as well as some butterfly images, different bugs, ladybugs, dragonflies, all sorts of really cute little critters. And it comes with this huge die set as well. Almost everything has a die. You can see with my hand just how big this image is here. It is really quite big, and each of these flowers on its own could serve as the centerpiece for a card. So I think this is a fantastic set to have in your stash. One of the reasons for this card and the way that I made it is, I admit, because I got this Alta new stamp wheel for Christmas and I just had to try it out. I just had to try out this function where you can make a wreath with all sorts of different images, and these little images are absolutely perfect for that. Now, it's not quite a wreath, but I think it really helps to center the images and to line them up so that they line up just perfectly in a very consistent pattern. Now, this is literally my first time using this stamp wheel, and I have to say that I was very pleasantly surprised. This was a lot easier to use than I thought it would be. I didn't get a lot of inking that, was not centered or not the way that I wanted it. It was surprisingly easy to use. So I have used in the past some of those like grids to make the different wreaths and stuff like that, and I never had much success with them, or like using the lining up method, with a ruler and stuff like that to make wreaths. Never worked really well for me. So I'm really glad to have this stamp wheel, and it works, double, triple duty as, a stamping platform if you don't already have a stamping platform, and it also works as a sticky mat. So when you are doing stenciling or embossing or anything like that, it'll hold your paper there. So I have no, vested interest in this. This is just my personal opinion, just using the stamp wheel for the first time. Really liked it. And so you can see, obviously, this is not a full wreath because all of the images wouldn't lay out properly. They would overlap and stuff like that. But it still allows me to lay these out in a geometric pattern very easily. And so I was able to get a lot of the different stamped images there that are from the die set and the stamp set that are, the small little sets there. So I was glad to be able to find a use for all those, because sometimes those pieces end up being overlooked. So I was able to make a card where these are the focal point and this is the center focal point. So I think, you see the big flower images, and it's easy to make those the focal point of the card, but I think it's a little more challenging to make these smaller images the focal point of the card. So I was, really excited to try this out with my Alta new stamp wheel and see what I could do with it. Now, these colors that I'm using are my new favorite Distress Oxide colors. They are Peacock Feather, Mustard Seed, and Picked Raspberry, and together they make just an absolutely perfect rainbow. It is a trio set that you can buy on scrapbook.com, or you can buy them individually, but if you're only going to invest in a few colors of Distress Oxide, these are the ones that I would personally invest in. So I'm going ahead and I'm making this like a mixed media type of card. So I've got the Distress Oxides on there. I sprayed a little bit of water on there to give it a little bit more texture. And now I'm using this BB Cameron stencil set that is also available on Spellbinders. It was on clearance just a little bit ago, and I'm using the Simon Hurley Solar Paste, which dries kind of like an iridescent color, but it lets the other colors shine through, so I like it for that. So this stencil is really nice because there are 3 different types of texture on it, and so, it's really versatile that way. And these solar pastes, they actually dry surprisingly fast, so this only took a few minutes to dry completely. It also cleaned up super beautifully from the stamp wheel, so I didn't have any problems with it sticking to that at all. I knew I wanted to add some dimension to this by adding some die-cut images that I was going to prop up on foam, but I wasn't sure exactly what I was going to use. And I thought, it's probably just it's easy to make, an entire sheet full of these images that I can then die cut and use all over the place. So that's what I did. I actually did this 3 or 4 times, and I then embossed it with different colors of embossing powder. I think I did like a plain clear one. I did some sparkle embossing powder. I did some gold powder. And so now I've got all of those pieces, and I find it just easy to go ahead and, mass produce these pieces like this, especially when you're die cutting, to just do it all at once. And that way, when you are looking to make a card, it's a lot easier and faster to make a card when you've got this all done ahead of time. Now I'm just going to go ahead and mass die cut these. What's really nice about these images is that even though they're large, they actually do fit on the smaller Sizzix little Sidekick machine here. I really dislike getting out my big machine because it just takes up so much space. So whenever I can just use the little machine, that's my preference. So again, this little machine to the rescue, and I was able to cut these out quickly. Now, the benefit of the big machine would have been I could have die cut a bunch of the images all at once, but honestly, this is just as easy, and it's more convenient for me. I decided to use the gold embossed butterfly in the center here. Even though I had already stamped a butterfly image in the center, I thought raising this up in the center would add that dimension that just, you know, draws your eye there, and that the gold kind of called in the solar paste and kind of just tied everything together. I used the sentiment from the kit, "Hello friend," and then there is our finished card. I just love this distressed look with the kind of watercolor effect and the dappled effect, and I just, you know, I don't make a lot of distressed kind of looking cards, so it's really fun when I do. This next card comes together super quickly because I had already die cut all of those flowers, and you can see off to the corner there like the sheer number of flowers and elements from the set that I had pre-cut. So I just went ahead, I took a piece of scrapbook paper that I had, just a 12 by 12 piece of scrapbook paper that I cut down. This was from my stash, and I just, you know, am adding those center flowers there as the focal point, and then adding the sentiment, and that's the finished card basically. So super easy when you have pre-cut all of those different elements. I love having a super quick and easy card like this. Like if you're ever like, oh my gosh, I need a card, I need a birthday card, I need something, you know, to just, you know, right now immediately, and I don't know what to do. This is a great tip when you have these things pre-cut and pre-made and you're using like a finished background, a pre-made background. Like it just comes together so quickly and you can have a personalized card in an instant. I love the contrast of the black and white images with the really colorful background. I think it just shows them off even more. And then I love that sentiment where, like flowers, friendships bloom and grow more beautiful with time. So I love sentiments like that. That's an unusual one, and it's just useful for so many occasions. For this next card, I'm combining elements from the Garden collection by Wendy Vici, and this has her set of dies here and then the 3D embossing folder. And I thought that the flowers of that folder just went perfectly with the garden theme of the beautiful blooms from Simon Hurley. And then, you know, who doesn't love a heart in the center? So to create a little shaker card, I love using this heart. I cut it out twice, so I have the heart that I'm going to cut out from the center panel there, and then I have kind of a border that's going to go around it. I went back and forth with keeping the background completely white, but I decided that with the black and white images that I had embossed, I thought that having a colorful background would help, and it would also draw out the shape of that embossing folder. So I used these mica sprays. These are distressed mica sprays, and rather than like leaving it kind of blotchy, I went ahead and patted it down with a paper towel so that it really kind of covers the whole background, but just kind of a little bit more smoothly than if I had just let it with the splotches, which can be a nice effect too, but that wasn't what I was going for here. But it lends the cardstock a really nice shiny effect. Now I'm just adding some acetate here. I just glued that directly onto the card, and then I'm going ahead and around it I'm adding the foam tape to create that shaker window. I did double up that foam tape, which is easy enough to do when the foam tape is already still on the roll. That's just a little tip there, rather than trying to double up the pieces after the fact, after you have it put on there. That's the way I used to do it, and then actually Simon Hurley turned me on to the idea of doubling up the tape before you take it off of the roll, which is a good tip. So I'm also adding one of the flowers in the background of the shaker card window here, and just adding some sequins. This nice little light pink sequin set, I believe, is from Stampin' Up. And then I'm just going to go ahead and put the shaker card window together. And you know, I'm really surprised because I really liked this set at first for the large blooms, but I'm really finding I'm using these small little insects for so many things, and I think I will in the future as well, but I don't have like a lot of dragonfly images. I just thought this was so pretty, and just putting together this sentiment here. Now this sentiment is actually, it is part of the set, but I actually cut the pieces down to create this specific sentiment. So the hello was one part of one sentiment, and the beautiful was part of a different sentiment. I just cut them down and put them together, and I know that can feel a little scary sometimes, but I've started doing that more and more, and actually it lends a lot more versatility to my stamps, so I really like doing that. And that is my completed card. Pretty quick and easy to do as well. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, please like, subscribe, and share. I really appreciate it. You can check out everything that I use down below in the links. If you shop from them, that is super helpful to me. I really appreciate it. I look forward to seeing you guys next time, and have a great day.